the night the drum refused to sleep. The village knew something had shifted. In Yoruba land, drums speak. But that night, the drum did not speak. It breathed. The moon hung low over the village. Not bright, not gentle, watching. The unnamed boy sat outside his mother's hut, tracing lines in sand. The other children no longer mocked him loudly. Now, they avoided him, and silence is worse than laughter. From the center of the village shrine, a slow vibration began. Not loud enough to wake the elders, but loud enough for him. Dum! He lifted his head. Dum! The sacred talking drum had not been touched in days, yet it was calling, and it was calling him. Across the village, Moyo stirred in her sleep. Her dream returned. The river, the moon broken in the water, and the boy, standing without a shadow. But this time, something changed. The water began to whisper. He must choose before they choose for him. She woke up gasping. Her coral beads trembled against her neck. She knew now. The boy's namelessness was not an accident. It was protection. Chief Talabi stood alone inside his compound. He had lived long enough to recognize omens. The wind had shifted direction 3 times that evening. Dogs would not howl, and the shrine fire would not stay lit. He closed his eyes. This child, he whispered, is not empty. He feared something worse. What if the ancestors were silent? Because they were waiting, the boy stood slowly, bare feet pressing into cool sand. The vibration grew stronger as he walked toward the shrine. No gods, no elders, only moonlight. The talking drum rested on its carved wooden stand, animal skin stretched tight, ancient symbols etched into its body. As he stepped closer, the air grew heavy. The drum's surface pulsed once. Like a heartbeat, he reached out his hand, and for the first time in his life, something answered him. The moment his fingers brushed the drum, a sound tore through the silence. Not loud, but deep, like thunder buried underground. The trees bent slightly. The shrine fire burst to life. Inside his mind, syllables rushed forward. Ancient, powerful, burning. But before they could form, a shadow moved behind him. Elder Alani stood at the edge of the shrine, eyes wide, breathing hard. He had followed the vibration, and what he saw froze his bones. The drum, responding, to a boy with no name. This must not continue, the elder whispered. Some secrets, he believed, were buried for a reason. Moyo could not ignore her dream. She wrapped a light indigo cloth over her shoulders and stepped into the night. The moonlight made her shadow long and thin. When she reached the shrine, she saw them, the boy, the elder, and the drum glowing faintly, and she understood. This was no longer about a name. This was about inheritance. Elder Alani raised his staff. You must not touch what does not belong to you. The boy stepped back, but it called me. Silence. Even the insects stopped singing. Moyo stepped forward gently. What if it belongs to him? She said softly. The elder's eyes darkened. Or what if it belongs to something that follows him? Without warning, the drum struck itself 3 times. Dum, dum, dum. The sound echoed across the village. Doors opened. All lamps lit. Elders emerged. The drum had not spoken on its own in generations. And now, it would not stop. Chief Talabi arrived last. His face pale. He did not look at the boy. He looked at the drum. Long ago, before the boy was born, a prophecy had been sealed. A child would come, unnamed, unclaimed, unanswered, because his name would not be given. It would be taken. The drum's surface shimmered. Images flickered across it like reflections in water. A forgotten war, a broken oath, a stolen title. The elders lowered their heads. The boy's silence was never emptiness. It was inheritance waiting. Moonlight shifted, and for the first time, the boy's shadow appeared clearly on the ground. But it was taller, stronger, crowned. Moyo's breath caught. "The name is not missing," she whispered. "It is hidden from those who are not ready." The drums sounded once more, louder than before, and then, stillness, complete. The vibration stopped. The shrine fire lowered. The moon brightened. The elders stared at the boy. Fear had shifted into uncertainty. Chief Talabi finally spoke. "From this night forward, the boy will not be watched. Pause. He will be guarded." The boy looked down at his hands. They no longer trembled. For the first time, he did not feel empty. He felt chosen. But across the forest edge, beyond the palm trees, something ancient had also heard the drum, and it was waking. The village did not sleep after the drum fell silent, even when the oil lamps were put out, even when doors were shut, even when mothers pulled their children close. The forest did not return to its normal song. No crickets, no night birds, no wind, only waiting. At the edge of the trees, something shifted. Not a beast, not a man, but a presence. The same vibration that had answered the boy at the shrine now echoed faintly between the trunks of the Iroko trees. The unseen presence had heard the drum, and it recognized a rhythm. Deep within the forest, ancient symbols carved long ago into tree bark began to glow faintly, the same markings etched into the sacred drum. This was not coincidence. This was memory awakening. Back in his mother's hut, the boy sat upright on his sleeping mat. His eyes were open. He was listening. He did not look afraid. He looked aware. Across from him, Moyo felt it too. The air had thickened, like before a storm, except there were no clouds, only destiny moving closer. Before dawn, the boy stepped outside. Barefoot again, silent again. The sky was still dark blue, not yet touched by morning. He walked toward the clearing between the village and the forest, the place no one farmed. The earth there was older, undisturbed. As he stepped into the center of the clearing, the ground beneath his feet felt warm, not burning, breathing. He looked down, and the sand shifted, slowly, gently, forming a pattern. Lines curved outward from where he stood, circular, intricate, ancient. The same symbol that had flickered across the drum. The same symbol that shimmered across the forest bark. The same symbol that had never fully formed in his mind. The boy did not move. The wind rose suddenly. Palm leaves clashed. Birds burst from trees. Inside the village, Moyo dropped the clay pot she was holding. She knew this was no longer about elders whispering. This was no longer about shame. This was declaration. At the shrine, the drum, untouched, gave one final, low vibration. Not loud, not public, but deliberate. The boy closed his eyes, and for the first time, the first syllable of his name almost escaped his lips. But he stopped himself, because now he understood something the elders did not. If he spoke it too soon, it would not only awaken the village, it would awaken whatever was waiting in the forest. He opened his eyes, and the symbol beneath his feet faded back into sand. Dawn broke slowly across the horizon, but the village would never see morning the same way again, because now, the boy was no longer searching for his name. His name was searching for him.